The corporate retreat was canceled at the last minute. Something about budget constraints and fiscal responsibility. The usual corporate bullshit that translates to, we spent too much on the executive bathroom renovations. I should have been pissed about driving 3 hours to a hotel just to turn around, but honestly, I was looking forward to getting home early to my wife Jenna. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. 41 years old, and I still got excited about surprise nights with my wife. Call me a romantic fool. Everyone else did. The house was dark when I pulled into our driveway at 11:30 p.m. Jenna's Honda wasn't in the garage. That was odd. Tuesday nights she usually stayed in, claimed she needed to decompress from her job at the marketing agency. I'd bought into that story for months. I unlocked the front door and flicked on the lights. The living room looked normal, too normal, like someone had quickly straightened up. The throw pillows on the couch were arranged perfectly, which never happened when Jenna was relaxing. She was a kick off your shoes and let them land where they may kind of person. In the kitchen, I found 2 wine glasses in the sink. Both had lipstick stains, same shade of red. Interesting, I muttered, running my finger around the rim of one glass, still slightly damp. Jenna's phone sat on the kitchen counter, plugged into the charger. She never left her phone behind. That device was practically surgically attached to her hand. I picked it up and swiped the screen. Locked, of course. I heard her car in the driveway at 2:17 a.m. I was sitting in the dark living room, waiting. The front door opened slowly. Jenna stepped inside, moving carefully in her heels. Her hair was mussed, lipstick gone, and her blouse was wrinkled in ways that suggested it had been removed and hastily put back on. She froze when she saw me sitting in the armchair. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice sharp with surprise and something else. Fear, maybe. "Trip got canceled," I said calmly. "Budget cuts. Apparently the only thing getting laid this week was the catering staff." She laughed, but it sounded forced. "You scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark?" "Couldn't sleep. Thought I'd wait up for you." I stood and walked toward her. "Where were you?" "Out with Mallory. You know how she gets when she's had a few drinks. I had to make sure she got home safe." "That's sweet of you," I smiled. "Hey, can I borrow your phone? I want to check the weather for tomorrow." Her hand instinctively moved toward her purse, then stopped. "My phone's in the kitchen, on the charger." "I know, but it's locked. What's your passcode again?" The silence stretched between us like a taut wire. Jenna's eyes darted toward the kitchen, then back to me. I changed it yesterday. For security. You know how paranoid I've been since that identity theft thing at work." "Right. Security." I nodded slowly. "Well, I guess I'll just check the weather on my laptop." She relaxed slightly. "I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed." "Sweet dreams," I called after her as she hurried upstairs. I waited until I heard the bedroom door close, then walked to the kitchen and picked up her phone again. The screen showed several missed notifications. Text messages from a contact listed simply as A. I couldn't read them without unlocking the phone, but I could see the preview of the most recent one. "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow, same time, same..." The message cut off there, but I'd seen enough. I went to the basement and retrieved the old security camera I'd installed last year after a break-in scare in the neighborhood. I'd never actually used it, but it was still in its box, along with all the mounting hardware. If my marriage was about to become a crime scene, I wanted evidence. Installing the camera took me most of Wednesday morning. I positioned it in the living room bookshelf, hidden behind some old photo albums. The angle was perfect. It captured the front door, the couch, and most of the kitchen entrance. I spent the day at work, fixing broken air conditioning units and trying not to think about what I might find on Jenna's phone. But the thoughts kept creeping in. Who was A? How long had this been going on? Was I the last person in our social circle to know? That evening, Jenna was unusually affectionate. She cooked my favorite dinner, lasagna with garlic bread, and kept touching my arm while we ate. "I'm sorry about last night," she said, twirling pasta around her fork. "I know I was acting weird. Mallory had some drama with her ex, and it got me all worked up thinking about relationships and trust and..." "It's fine," I interrupted. "We all have off nights." But it wasn't fine. The performance felt rehearsed, like she'd spent the day practicing her lines. After dinner, while Jenna was in the shower, I finally made my move. I'd watched her enter her passcode dozens of times over the years. Muscle memory made her fingers follow the same pattern. 0815. Our wedding anniversary. The phone unlocked on my first try. The text thread with A told the whole story. Months of messages, increasingly intimate, photos I definitely didn't want to see, plans to meet at the Riverside Motel every Tuesday and Thursday, but it was the contact information that made my blood run cold. A was Adam Foster. I knew that name. He was a real estate agent who'd helped us buy our house 3 years ago. Married guy with a wife and 2 kids. I scrolled through the messages, screenshotting the most damning ones and sending them to my own phone. Then I did something that surprised even me. I sent a text to Adam's wife. I'd met Carrie Foster a few times during the house buying process. She was quiet, observant, the kind of woman who noticed everything but said little. I found her number and Adam's contact info in one of Jenna's messages. Using my own phone, I texted her, "You don't know me well, but we met when you and Adam helped us buy our house. I'm Nick Callahan, Jenna's husband. I think we need to talk." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Her response came within minutes. "I've been waiting for this conversation for weeks. Can you meet tomorrow?" The next morning, I told Jenna I was taking a sick day. She seemed relieved, probably thinking it would give her more freedom to text her boyfriend. Carrie arrived at my house at 10 a.m. sharp. She looked different than I remembered, thinner, with dark circles under her eyes, but there was a steely determination in her posture that hadn't been there before. "Thank you for reaching out," she said as I led her into the living room. "I wasn't sure how to contact you without making things worse." "How long have you known?" I asked. 6 weeks. I found hotel receipts in his jacket pocket. She opened her purse and pulled out a manila folder. "I've been documenting everything since then." She spread the contents across my coffee table. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, photos of Adam's car at the Riverside Motel, even a recording device. "You've been busy," I said, impressed despite myself. "I'm a paralegal," she explained. "I know how to build a case." We spent the next hour comparing notes. The timeline matched perfectly. Every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 4 months, Adam and Jenna had been meeting at the same motel room. "What do you want to do about it?" I asked. Carrie's smile was cold and calculating. "I want to destroy them, both of them, but I want to do it smart." "I'm listening." "They think they're so clever, sneaking around behind our backs. But they've gotten careless, confident. That's when people make mistakes." She pulled out her phone and showed me a text thread. Adam had been sending her messages all morning, claiming he was showing houses to clients. "He's supposed to be at the motel with your wife right now," she said. "Want to go surprise them?" I looked at this woman, this quiet, overlooked wife who'd transformed into something fierce and dangerous, and felt a surge of admiration. "Actually," I said, "I have a better idea. What if we brought them here instead?" My plan was simple but effective. I texted Jenna from work, claiming I'd been called in for an emergency repair job and wouldn't be home until late. Then Carrie texted Adam, saying she was going shopping and would be gone all afternoon. That gave them the green light to use our house instead of the motel. Carrie and I waited in my garage, watching through the window. At 2:30 p.m., Adam's silver BMW pulled into my driveway. Jenna was already home. Her car was in the garage with us. "Showtime," I whispered. We waited exactly 30 minutes. Long enough for them to get comfortable, but not long enough for them to finish whatever they were doing in my living room. I used my key to open the front door quietly. The hidden camera would catch everything from this point forward. Jenna and Adam were on my couch. Her blouse was on the floor. His shirt was unbuttoned. They were so focused on each other that they didn't hear us come in. "Honey, I'm home," I called out cheerfully. The reaction was immediate and spectacular. Jenna screamed and dove for her shirt. Adam fell off the couch, scrambling to button his pants. "Nick, what are you doing here? You said you'd be working late." "A change of plans." I stepped aside and gestured toward Carrie. "Jenna, I'd like you to meet my new friend, though I think you two have a mutual acquaintance." Carrie walked into the room with the calm confidence of a woman who held all the cards. She looked at Adam, who had gone completely white. "Hello, darling," she said to her husband. "Showing houses, are we?" "Carrie, I can explain," Adam started. "Who is she?" Jenna shrieked, still struggling to get her arms through her shirt sleeves. "What's going on? Nick, what is this?" "This," I said, pulling out my phone and starting a video recording, "is what we call a reality check. Jenna, meet Carrie Foster. She's Adam's wife. You know, the woman whose husband you've been screwing in our bed for the past 4 months. The silence that followed was deafening. Adam looked like he might vomit. Jenna's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. "We walked in silence for too long," I continued, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. "All those nights you came home late, all those Tuesday and Thursday work meetings, All those times you made me feel crazy for asking questions. Nick, please, let me explain. Jenna started. Explain what? How you've been using our anniversary date as your phone passcode while you planned your affair? How you've been bringing him into our home? How you've been lying to my face for months? Carrie stepped forward. Adam, I think it's time we discussed our divorce terms. I've already spoken with my attorney. And I think it's time we discussed ours, I said to Jenna. Adam finally found his voice. Look, this doesn't have to get ugly. We can work this out like adults. I laughed. Actually laughed. Adults? You want to talk about acting like adults? Adults don't sneak around behind their spouses' backs. Adults don't use other people's homes for their affairs. Adults don't lie and manipulate and gaslight the people who love them. Nick, I never meant for this to happen, Jenna said, tears streaming down her face. It just happened. Bullshit. This took planning, coordination, 4 months of deliberate deception. This didn't just happen any more than a bank robbery just happens. Adam stood up, trying to regain some composure. I think we should all take a step back and calm down. Calm down? Carrie's voice was ice cold. I've been calm for 6 weeks while I documented every lie you told me, every fake client meeting, every suspicious charge on our credit cards. I've been very, very calm. She opened her purse again and pulled out a thick stack of papers. These are divorce papers, Adam. I'm filing on grounds of adultery. I'm taking the house, half your business, and full custody of the kids. You can keep your BMW. You'll need somewhere to sleep. You can't do this, Adam sputtered. It's not that simple. Actually, it is, Carrie replied. I'm a paralegal, remember? I know exactly how simple it can be when you have evidence. I looked at Jenna, who was now sobbing on the couch. Part of me wanted to comfort her. 20 years of marriage don't disappear instantly. But the larger part of me felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're both going to leave my house, you're going to stay away from each other, and you're going to think very carefully about how you want to handle the next few weeks, because Carrie and I have enough evidence to make your lives very uncomfortable. Are you threatening us? Adam asked, puffing up his chest like he was some kind of tough guy. I'm promising you, I replied. Cross us again, and we'll make sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of people you are. They left separately. Adam first, then Jenna after she'd gathered some clothes. She kept trying to talk to me, to explain, to apologize, but I wasn't interested in hearing it. After they were gone, Carrie and I sat in my living room, reviewing the footage from the hidden camera. This is good, she said, watching Adam stumble off the couch. Very good. What now? I asked. She smiled, and for the first time since I'd met her, it looked genuine. Now we make them pay. The next phase of our plan required patience and precision. Carrie and I met every morning at a coffee shop across town to coordinate our efforts. She'd taken vacation time from her paralegal job, claiming she needed to handle personal matters. I'd arranged my work schedule to give myself maximum flexibility. The key, Carrie explained over coffee on Friday morning, is to attack their credibility and their comfort simultaneously. Make them paranoid. Make them sloppy. She'd done her homework. Adam's real estate business depended heavily on his reputation in the community. He was involved in the Rotary Club, coached Little League, and served on the board of the local Chamber of Commerce. His image was everything. Jenna's situation was similar. Her marketing agency valued discretion and professionalism. Her boss, Calvin Morrison, was old-school conservative who'd made it clear that personal scandals reflected poorly on the company. We start small, Carrie said. Subtle pressure. Let them know they're being watched. Our first move was psychological warfare. I had copies made of some of the hotel receipts and left one on Adam's windshield at the grocery store. No note, no explanation, just the receipt tucked under his wiper blade. Carrie did something similar with Jenna, mailing an anonymous envelope to her office containing printouts of some of the text messages. The effects were immediate. Jenna called me that evening, her voice shaky. Someone sent me something at work today, she said. Oh? What kind of something? Nick, please. We need to talk about this. Can't we work things out? Work what out, Jenna? You haven't even admitted you did anything wrong. I made a mistake, but it's over now. I ended it with Adam. I almost believed her. Almost. But Carrie had shown me Adam's phone records. They'd exchanged 17 text messages that very day. I'm glad to hear that, I said. Maybe now you can focus on finding a good divorce attorney. The second phase involved their social circles. Carrie and I had compiled a list of mutual friends, business associates, and family members. We didn't plan to tell everyone immediately. That would look vindictive. Instead, we'd let the information leak out naturally through strategic conversations. Carrie started with Adam's business partner, Greg Whitman. She scheduled a consultation about selling their house, then casually mentioned that she'd heard Adam was having some personal difficulties that might affect his focus on work. I took a different approach with Jenna's best friend, Mallory. I'd never liked Mallory. She was the kind of person who thrived on drama and gossip, but now her personality worked in my favor. I ran into her at the hardware store on Saturday morning. Pure coincidence, but I made the most of it. "Hey, Nick," she called out, approaching with her usual fake enthusiasm. "How are you and Jenna doing?" "Oh, you know how it is," I said, loading paint cans into my cart. "Marriage has its ups and downs. Some people handle the downs better than others." Her eyes lit up. Mallory could smell gossip like a shark smells blood. "Is everything okay?" she asked, leaning in conspiratorially. "I'm sure Jenna will fill you in," I replied. "She's been sharing a lot lately, with all kinds of people." I left it at that, but I could see the wheels turning in Mallory's head. She'd be on the phone with Jenna within the hour, fishing for details. The third phase was my personal favorite, the Chamber of Commerce Gala. Every year, the local business community held a fancy dinner and awards ceremony. Adam had been nominated for Realtor of the Year, an honor that would significantly boost his business. Jenna's agency was handling the event planning and marketing. Carrie and I bought tickets. We dressed well, acted normal, and mingled with the crowd like any other married couple. Most people knew us as the Foster's friends, or that nice couple who bought the house on Maple Street. Adam gave a speech about integrity and community values. He talked about the importance of trust in business relationships, about being there for your neighbors, about the sacred bonds that hold communities together. I recorded every word. During the cocktail hour, Carrie and I worked the room separately. She chatted with the wives of Adam's business associates, dropping subtle hints about his changing priorities and new interests outside the community. I focused on Jenna's professional contacts. Calvin Morrison, her boss, was there with his wife. I made sure to mention how much stress Jenna had been under lately, how her personal life seemed to be affecting her work performance. "I'm worried about her," I told Calvin's wife, Linda. "She's been staying out late, missing family dinners. I think she might be having some kind of midlife crisis." Linda Morrison was a therapist who specialized in marriage counseling. She ate up every word. The evening's highlight came during the awards ceremony. Adam won Realtor of the Year. As expected, he gave another speech about values and integrity. That's when I made my move. During the applause, I stood up and raised my wine glass. "I'd like to propose a toast," I announced loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. "To Adam Foster, a man who truly understands the importance of exploring new properties." The comment got some confused chuckles. Adam looked puzzled, but smiled and nodded. "And to my wife Jenna," I continued, "who's been working so hard lately to expand her client base." More confused murmurs. Jenna, who was standing near the stage coordinating the event, went pale. "To new partnerships," I concluded, raising my glass higher, "and to the exciting places they can take you." I sat down to polite applause, but I could see the questions forming in people's minds. The seed was planted. After the gala, Carrie and I went to a late-night diner to debrief. "That was risky," she said, but she was smiling. "Effective, but risky." "Sometimes you have to take risks," I replied. "Besides, what are they going to do? Complain that I was too enthusiastic about their professional development?" We both laughed. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I was in control of the situation. "What's next?" I asked. Carrie's smile turned predatory. "Now we get serious." Monday morning brought the first real consequences. Jenna called me at work, hysterical. "Calvin wants to see me in his office," she sobbed into the phone. "Someone told his wife that I was having problems at home. She's been asking questions about my work performance, my reliability." "Maybe you should have thought about that before you started screwing a married man," I replied calmly. "Nick, please. I know you're angry, but this could destroy my career." "Your choices destroyed your career, Jenna. I'm just making sure people know about those choices." I hung up and immediately called Carrie. "Phase 4 is working," I told her. "Jenna's boss is asking questions." "Good. Adam's having problems, too. Greg called this morning asking about rumors he's been hearing. Apparently someone told him that Adam might be having personal issues that could affect their business partnership." "Who would do such a thing?" I asked innocently. "Can't imagine," she replied with a laugh. That afternoon I got a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. Meet me at the Corkscrew at 8 p.m. Come alone." A. The Corkscrew was a dive bar on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where people went to drink away their problems and mind their own business, perfect for a confrontation. I arrived at 7:45 and took a seat at the bar. The bartender, a woman named Tessa who'd been working there for decades, nodded at me. "You're Nick Callahan," she said. It wasn't a question. "That's right. How did you—" "Your wife's been in here a few times lately, with a guy who's not you." She poured me a whiskey without being asked. "Figured you'd show up eventually." "What did you see?" "Enough." She leaned across the bar. "They thought they were being discreet, sitting in the back booth, but I see everything that happens in my bar. They were planning something, talking about you, about his wife. Didn't sound friendly." Adam walked in at exactly 8 p.m. He looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. He spotted me at the bar and walked over slowly. "We need to end this," he said without preamble. "And what?" I asked, not turning around. "This game you're playing. The rumors, the hints, the psychological warfare. It stops now." I swiveled on my bar stool to face him. "Or what?" "Or I make your life very difficult." Tessa moved closer, pretending to clean glasses while obviously listening to our conversation. "How exactly are you going to do that, Adam? You're not exactly in a position of strength here. I know people, important people. I can make things hard for you at work, in the community. I can spread rumors about you, too." I laughed. "What rumors? That I'm a faithful husband who worked 2 jobs to support his wife's career? That I've never cheated, never lied, never betrayed anyone's trust? Please, spread those rumors far and wide." Adam's face reddened. "You're destroying innocent people. Carrie doesn't deserve this. Your wife doesn't deserve this." "You're right about one thing. Carrie doesn't deserve this. She doesn't deserve to be married to a lying, cheating piece of garbage who thinks he can threaten his way out of consequences." I stood up, and Adam took a step back. I'm not a big man, but 20 years of manual labor had given me a wiry strength that desk jockeys like Adam didn't possess. "But my wife?" I continued. "She deserves exactly what she's getting, and so do you." "This isn't over," Adam said, backing toward the door. "You're absolutely right," I replied. "It's not over. It's just getting started." After he left, Tessa poured me another whiskey. "That man's scared," she observed. "He should be." "What are you planning to do?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the recording app that had been running throughout our conversation. "I'm planning to let him destroy himself." The next morning, I sent the recording to Carrie. She called me immediately. "He threatened you," she said, her voice tight with anger. "He tried to. But threatening someone in a bar full of witnesses isn't the smartest move. This changes things. We need to accelerate our timeline." "What do you have in mind?" "Meet me at your house in an hour. And Nick, bring your camera." When Carrie arrived, she had a thick folder and a determined expression. "I've been in contact with Adam's business partner," she said. "Greg's been asking a lot of questions about Adam's recent behavior, his reliability, his judgment. I may have mentioned that Adam's been making some questionable personal decisions that could reflect poorly on their business." "How did Greg take that?" "He's scheduling a meeting with Adam this afternoon to discuss partnership concerns. He's also asked me to provide documentation of any irregularities in Adam's recent behavior." She opened the folder and spread out dozens of documents: hotel receipts, credit card statements, phone records, photographs, and printouts of text messages. "This is enough to end his career," I said, impressed. "That's the idea. But I want to do this right. I want him to know it's coming, and I want him to know exactly why." "What about Jenna?" Carrie smiled. "I have plans for her, too. But first, we need to deal with Adam." We spent the next hour organizing the evidence into a comprehensive timeline. Every lie, every deception, every moment of betrayal was documented with dates, times, and supporting evidence. At 3 p.m., Carrie called Adam and asked him to meet her at my house to discuss their situation privately. He arrived 30 minutes later, looking nervous but trying to project confidence. "Carrie, I'm glad you called," he said as she led him into the living room. "We need to talk about this rationally." "Oh, we're going to be very rational," she replied. That's when I stepped out of the kitchen. "Hello, Adam. Thanks for joining us." His face went white. "What is this, some kind of ambush?" "This," Carrie said, spreading the documents across the coffee table, "is accountability." Adam stared at the evidence of his betrayal laid out like a prosecutor's case. "You can't use any of this," he said weakly. It's invasion of privacy." "Actually," Carrie replied, "as your wife, I have legal access to our joint financial records, phone bills, and credit card statements. Everything here was obtained legally." "And the recordings?" he asked, looking at me. "One-party consent state," I replied. As long as one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's perfectly legal. Adam slumped into a chair. What do you want? We want you to understand the consequences of your choices, Carrie said. Tomorrow morning, I'm filing for divorce. I'm also providing copies of this evidence to your business partner, your insurance company, and the Chamber of Commerce Ethics Committee. You can't do this. It'll destroy me. You destroyed yourself, I said. We're just making sure people know about it. What about Jenna? He asked desperately. Carrie and I exchanged glances. What about her? I asked. She's involved in this too. If you're going to destroy me, what are you doing to her? Jenna is my problem to handle, I replied. But since you asked... I pulled out my phone and played the recording of our conversation at the Corkscrew. I'm sending this to her boss tomorrow morning, along with copies of your text messages. I think Calvin Morrison will be very interested to know that his employee has been having an affair with a man who threatens people when he's caught. Adam buried his face in his hands. This is insane. You're both insane. No, Carrie said quietly. We're both tired of being lied to. She gathered up the documents and put them back in the folder. You have 24 hours to tell your children and your parents before they hear it from someone else, she said. After that, this becomes public knowledge. Adam left without another word. After he was gone, Carrie and I sat in silence for several minutes. Do you think we're going too far? I asked. Do you? She replied. I thought about all the nights I'd waited up for Jenna, all the lies I'd believed, all the times I'd questioned my own sanity when things didn't add up. No, I said. I don't think we're going far enough. The end came faster than I expected. Wednesday morning, Calvin Morrison called Jenna into his office. I know this because Mallory called me afterward. Apparently Jenna had called her, sobbing, from the parking lot of her office building. She's been fired, Mallory told me, her voice hushed with excitement. Calvin said someone sent him evidence of conduct unbecoming a professional representative of the company. She's been escorted out by security. That's terrible, I said, not meaning it at all. Nick, what's going on? Jenna won't tell me anything except that you two are having problems. Ask her about Adam Foster, I suggested. I'm sure she'll fill you in. I hung up and called Carrie. Adam's business partnership is over, she reported. Greg called this morning. He's buying out Adam's share of the company and removing his name from all their properties. Apparently, the Chamber of Commerce Ethics Committee has also launched an investigation. What kind of investigation? The kind that ends with him losing his real estate license. When I got home that evening, Jenna was sitting in her car, eyes red, makeup smeared. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. She'd lost her job, fired for unprofessional conduct. I told her to ask Adam what that meant. His wife had already filed for divorce. His life was collapsing, and I couldn't have been happier. She begged to fix things, crying, pleading for counseling. I told her it was over the moment she texted him back. Everything after that was just paperwork. When she asked where to go, I said, "Not my problem anymore," and closed the door. The next morning, my yard was trashed. Toilet paper, shaving cream, humiliation on display. The neighbors noticed. Soon everyone did. Jenna's affair was public now. Facebook posts, gossip, sympathy wrapped in mockery. By nightfall, the phones wouldn't stop ringing. Family, co-workers, everyone knew. The truth had spread faster than the lies ever did. A few days later, she came back with Adam, both wrecked, asking to move forward. I called his wife instead. 10 minutes later, Carrie showed up. Calm, composed, dangerous. You want to move forward? She asked. Then disappear. And they did. Months later, Jenna sent a postcard from Vegas. I'm sorry for everything. I threw it away. Because betrayal isn't about what you do in private. It's about what happens when the truth finally goes public.